That was an abomination to the sport of basketball.
And unfortunately, I am with the majority here who thought that it wasn't the greatest game. Like, there wasn't that much effort that was shown on the court. This WNBA All-Star Weekend was my first in person. I felt like the players were so excited and happy to be there. They just didn't put that much effort on the court. And I also have to admit that I left during the third quarter. I just kind of couldn't take it anymore.
Instead of serving as a celebration of women's basketball at its best, the WNBA All-Star Game served as a sobering reminder of how heavily the league relies on a single player.
Feel bad. Uncle Casey almost feels bad for the players in the WNBA. Yesterday was supposed to be a day of celebration. The rainbow flags were flying. The standard and supersized cucumbers were prepared. This was supposed to be a big weekend for pretend basketball.
The whole weekend fell apart as quickly as a house of cards during a hurricane when Caitlin Clark declared she would not be taking part because of a groin issue. Fans mentally checking out before the second quarter had ended, empty seats, and falling ticket prices.
We see ticket prices dropping very fast. Folks, the get-in price, if you live in Indiana and you got nothing better to do, the get-in price, you might want to throw a couple 50, 60, 70 bucks just to get in to the WNBA All-Star Game, something to do.
This was not another disappointing All-Star Game. This revealed the WNBA's Caitlin Clark dependency issue in its entirety. The figures also don't lie. There was only one thing that was evident when Team Collier defeated Team Clark 151-131. The WNBA All-Star Game was as thrilling as watching paint dry in slow motion without Caitlin Clark on the court.
Nafisa Collier's team was winning by over 20 points at halftime. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's watch Glorilla perform at halftime. Let's see if they come out a little bit stronger in the third quarter and start to play a little bit more defense. But the lead just got further and further away. And I decided to go back to the hotel and just get ready for my next event. I will say we did go to the game.
Did anyone really care when Nisa Collier smashed records with 36 points and won MVP? During finals week, the arena was as lively as a library. The entire story was revealed by the ticket price crash. Get-in pricing on TickPick were $121 before to Clark's injury news.
Man, I'm disappointed. The WNBA All-Star Game was dumpster juice. Boo-boo water. Doo-doo water. You hear me? Whatever you want to call it. Man, that is... But the crazy thing is, what I did appreciate about the game was my precious CC was the coach and she was looking happy and she was smiling ear to ear.
The 2025 ESP Best WNBA Player winner would not be wearing a uniform within hours of the announcement. The number of those same tickets fell to only 64, a staggering 48% decline. Folks, that's more than simply a market correction. It's a total evacuation.
Going on. Caitlin Clark, she was officially ruled out before all of these things. And look at the news that dropped. This is wild. WNBA All-Star Weekend. It's supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here. And look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. And it gets worse. According to Front Office Sports, Saturday's event had the highest average purchase price in WNBA All-Star Game history at $262. However, the secondary market turned into a fire sale as soon as fans learned they wouldn't be able to see the Clark concert in Indianapolis. Courtside tickets, which had been selling for more than $1,000, were essentially being given away.
Well, would you look at that? Prices for the WNBA All-Star Game have plummeted 49% after Caitlin Clark was ruled out due to injury, per TickPick. I can't say that I'm surprised by this at all. I mean, no matter how much you love her or hate her, Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. When she goes, the ratings go. Simply put.
Even more telling than the figures was the image. You could see vacant areas strewn throughout Gainbridge Fieldhouse during the game. These weren't merely concession stands or restroom breaks. Instead of seeing magic, these fans were treated to a glorified pickup game with no defense and players making four-pointers like they were playing NBA 2K with their sliders maxed out. The game itself suffered, but the entertainment factor of the entire weekend was completely destroyed by Caitlin Clark's absence. Wearing a Pay Us What You Owe Us t-shirt, the woman who garnered the most fan votes in WNBA All-Star history, more than 1.29 million, was forced to coach from the sidelines. One could sense the irony. When your top recruit is unable to play, how can you compensate them fairly?
How are you going to wear a shirt, pay us what you owe us, and then continue to play the worst fucking game I have ever seen in my life? Zero defense.
Both the Team Clark game and the three-point competition suffered from Caitlin Clark's absence from the WNBA All-Star Games. With supporters anticipating an exciting matchup between Clark and defending champion Sabrina Ionescu, Friday night's three-point competition was predicted to be a highlight. Instead, the euphoria died down without Clark. Lexi Hall filled in as a substitute. Despite being a good player, she was unable to match Clark's shooting range or star power. It was like seeing a cover band attempt to mimic the Beatles. Good effort, but it's just not the same. Clark's star power, excitement, and passion were greatly absent, making what should have been a spectacular occasion a dull show. The actual All-Star game followed. With players like A.A. Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, Team Clark had a formidable squad. However, the team appeared out of rhythm right away, without Clark at the forefront. They lost by 20 points because they were unable to establish a rhythm and trailed for the whole of the game. Their body language conveyed their dissatisfaction. It was hard to overlook Clark's absence from the court, even if she was on the bench. The team appeared to be playing in the shadow of what may have been, burdened by the expectations associated with her name.
They shot 58 threes. You hear me? Man, I don't agree with that. Wasn't nobody playing defense. See, there's a reason why they don't get paid what they supposed to get paid at the end of the day. You hear me? Like, come on now. Stop it. Like, play defense. Make it interesting. Like, be competitive. You hear me? Like, it ain't like y'all just don't be trying to hurt people for real. Just like in the NBA All-Star game, they be playing defense. They don't be hurting each other. I mean, they'll bruise each other a little bit, but come on now.
Nafisa Collier, the team leader, assisted in setting a new record. With a total of 282 points, it was the highest-scoring All-Star game in league history. However, many fans found the game challenging, if not boring, to watch behind those gaudy statistics. The main issue is a complete lack of competitive spirit. The game felt more like a friendly shootout than a contest between the league's top players, and defense was virtually non-existent. There was no genuine sense of drama, no strategic pairings, and no physicality. The recently added four-point line was frequently used by players to fire shots, which first looked thrilling but soon became monotonous. The gimmicky manner alienated fans rather than won them over. According to reports, a large portion of the audience was more focused on their phones than the game. However, the impending decline in TV ratings brought attention to the game's flaws. Experts were already projecting a steep drop from last year's record-breaking 3.44 million viewers, even though the exact figures had not yet been made public.
The WNBA All-Star Game was very disappointing. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You're trying to fight negotiations and CBA and you want more money and shit like that. You gotta give people something exciting to watch. I could have watched a group of first graders play that game and it would have been more exciting. Now, I'm an NBA guy, and I watch tons of All-Star games. So I don't really expect lockdown defense and hustle plays and diving on the floor and shit like that. I get it, it's an All-Star game. However, at least you could have picked up the pace at halftime, third quarter, or maybe try to keep the game close. Because the score really doesn't tell me how the game went. It wasn't like one team was dominating the other team. The only reason one team was up by so much is because the other team was missing their shots. Because that's all I saw.
This year, without Clark, there was just no buzz. Her absence had an impact on more than simply the caliber of play. It also demonstrated how important she is to the league's expansion and visibility. The WNBA is currently at a turning point. The league must reconsider its format and tactics in order to keep fans interested in the product even when its biggest player isn't playing if it hopes to maintain the all-player game as a major event. It was perfectly summed up by Skip Biss. Undoubtedly, some celebrities are secretly relieved that Caitlin Clark will not be attending the WNBA's All-Star Weekend in order to receive more of the recognition they feel they are due. Rather, declining numbers will highlight the fact that she is the primary cause of the W's explosive rise in popularity. He was correct. The time had come for Angel Reese, Paige Buers, and the other All-Stars to shine without having to live in Clark's shadow. But you know what? It didn't really matter to anyone. The whole thing felt like a huge step backward for women's basketball. The excitement was fake, and the vibe was flat.
For the people who don't believe in the CC effect, my precious CC, y'all ticket sales went from $262 to $121 to $64 to get in at the door. That is horrible. It decreased by 48%. You hear me? That is wild. So for all the ones who be hating on my precious CC, understand the Caitlin Clark effect is real. The CC effect is real. My precious CC is real. You hear me? Y'all need to put some respect on her name. That's wild, huh? We only wanted to see my precious CC, not nobody else, as the Temptations.
This all-star mishap also demonstrated Clark's injury history during her sophomore campaign. She never missed a game in her rookie season or in college, but she has already missed 11 games this season because of a variety of soft tissue problems. Her impact has been hampered by a series of setbacks, the most recent of which being a right groin injury she suffered during a victory over the Connecticut Sun. The WNBA couldn't have come at a worse time. The league's expansion and Clark's return should have been celebrated when Indianapolis hosted All-Star Weekend for the first time. Rather, it served as a sobering reminder of how flimsy the WNBA's recently gained reputation is when it is based on a single exceptional player. The league office and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert were forced to watch helplessly as their crown jewel event became a warning. From a courtside seat, the same athlete who had single-handedly pushed attendance, viewership, and item sales to all-time highs was now pointing out the league's over-reliance on her celebrity.
Really unfortunate that Caitlin Clark missed it. The crowd would have been exploding. The crowd would have been exploding. The arena would have been exploding. Oh man, a big miss as far as the WNBA is concerned. It would have been huge. It would have been epic. Maybe we can get that next year. Maybe Sabrina will grace us next year along with Caitlin Clark. You want to see Caitlin Clark participate in this thing, right? We want to see her participate healthy, but if it's not going to be in Indiana, where is the incentive again to participate? Just a thought that I had.
It was a startling contrast to Clark's usual impact. Her return from injury in June averaged 2.2 million views on ABC, and her games consistently attracted over 1 million people throughout the season. Among the most watched WNBA broadcasts ever were games between Clark and the Indiana Fever. During her previous absences, national TV ratings fell by 55%. The goal of the 2025 All-Star Game was to highlight the WNBA's versatility and depth. Rather, it demonstrated the contrary. You have a serious issue with the sustainability of your product when your biggest star is hurt and the whole weekend becomes dull. Without Clark's limitless range, even the 4-point shot edition, which was meant to create excitement and highlight the league's best shooting talent, failed to live up to expectations. On 65 attempts, players made a total of 24 points, although it felt more like a ploy than real fun.
You guys have to come to the realization, she's just it, bro. I don't even know what to tell you. This is not a situation where it's the regular games and people just not know. This is the all-star game. The all-stars. The biggest stars in the league. Again, but you have all of your big names there. You got the unicorn. Well, she's not playing either. You got Alyssa Thomas. You got Kiki. You got Sonia Citron. You got Asia. You have the stars out. You got Nafisa Collier. The stars are out. Why are the tickets moving slow?
The whole scenario was revealed by the post-game reaction. There was general dissatisfaction despite Collier's celebration of her MVP title and record-breaking performance. Fans vented their dissatisfaction on social media over the general caliber of basketball on exhibit, the empty seats, and the lack of defense. It was more than just a bad night. This was a systemic failing that revealed the WNBA's reliance on Clark in the most visible manner. Without their golden goose, the league, which has seen unheard of expansion in the last 2 seasons, found itself reduced to a niche product that finds it difficult to keep the interest of the general public. Caitlin Clark, the 2025 ESP Best WNBA Player winner, wanted nothing more than to perform in front of her local fans, which is the true sorrow. For months, she had been anticipating the All-Star Game and the three-point competition. The spectators and Clark herself were both deprived of what should have been an unforgettable weekend in Indianapolis due to her injuries.
She keep breaking these records effortlessly. She will definitely be the women's logo for basketball for the WNBA. And I stand firm on that. You hear me? Y'all can say what you want to say, but dang, if you go back.
In the hopes that Clark remains healthy and that the league can generate more long-term interest beyond a single superstar, the WNBA must now wait another year for their next All-Star showcase. One thing is certain, though, following this weekend's catastrophe, the WNBA All-Star Game reached an all-time low, and everyone knows why. The costs of crash tickets, the vacant seats, and the disgruntled spectators are all truthful. Without its greatest attraction, the WNBA All-Star Game was exposed for what it truly is in the absence of Caitlin Clark. A product that is still in the early stages of development before it can be considered self-sufficient. This weekend was more than just a squandered chance. Even though the league didn't want to hear it, it was a much-needed wake-up call.